Hello friends, I am Nisha Sharma, Associate Professor, Department of English. The topic under discussion today is William Shakespeare's sonnet Went to the Sessions of Sweet Silent Thought, a critical study. You have already studied two sonnets of Shakespeare and you know the structure of a Shakespearean sonnet and what a sonnet is. As you know, Shakespeare has written his sonnets in a sonnet sequence. And in that sequence, this sonnet is considered as sonnet number 30. Sonnet 30, Went to the Sessions of Sweet Silent Thought, was written by the English poet and playwright William Shakespeare. First published in 1609 as part of a sequence of 154 sonnets, Sonnet 30 was most likely written in the early 1590s. At this time, Shakespeare was a young playwright, recently arrived in London. Despite its author's youth and inexperience, the poem broods on life's disappointments. For the speaker of the poem, even thinking about such sorrows brings them back with all their original pain and power. Only one thing offers solace and comfort in the face of such pain: the love the speaker feels for a dear friend. Now, the summary. When I am silently reflecting on things that have happened in the past, I feel disappointed that I failed to get the things I wanted. Old sorrows feel new again, and I complain about how I wasted my precious time. Then I can weep heavily, even though I rarely cry for dear friends who have died. I can weep again for lost loves I had once gotten over. I can complain about things that have been destroyed. Then I get angry about old insults and I complain about one bad thing after another. A sad tale of things I have already complained about, which feel as painful now as they did before. But if I stop and think about you, dear friend, everything I have lost returns to me and all my sorrows end. Now, the theme of the poem. First theme is the pain of memory. In Sonnet 30, the speaker discusses all the injuries and disappointments of life: dead friends, lost pleasures, squandered opportunities. For the speaker, neither memory nor time itself diminishes the pain of these losses. Just to think about them brings them back in their full power and difficulty. Indeed, the speaker suggests that memory itself is a powerful source of pain. The speaker of Sonnet 30 has a lot of regrets and disappointments, and as soon as the speaker starts to reminisce about the things past, these regrets and disappointments come flocking in, overwhelming the speaker. The speaker broods over the lack of many a thing I sought. In other words, about missed opportunities. The speaker also weeps over old friends long dead. Then can I drown an eye unused to flow for precious friends hid in death's dateless night. The speaker grieves lost loves too, love's long since cancelled woe. The first 12 lines of the poem thus constitute a long, exhaustive list of all the things the speaker grieves and regrets. Strikingly, these disappointments and sorrows don't seem to have faded with time. Time usually takes the sting out of grief and disappointment, but that's not the case for this speaker. The speaker no sooner thinks of some foreboding mourn than the speaker has to new paid as if not paid before. In other words, the speaker endures the pain all over again, and it feels just as fresh and sharp as before. It is as though no time has passed at all. The first 12 lines of the poem are thus dark, and full of despair. The speaker occupies a world in which no one ever really heals, where hurt and pain last forever without subsiding or becoming bearable, and reflecting on the past, remembering it only brings that pain back with all its power and difficulty. Next theme is the power of love. The power of love, which the poet has described in the poem, is the power of love which his friend gives him. The speaker of Sonnet 30 spends most of his time in despair, obsessively meditating on past disappointment, regret, and sorrows. The speaker can't find any relief. Even the passage of time doesn't heal these wounds, as we discussed it in the theme. The pain of memory, remembering these griefs, is like enduring their pain all over again. But in the final two lines of the poem, the speaker finally announces that there is something that makes up for all these losses and disappointments, that is love. After the speaker's intense despair in the first 12 lines, the couplet that closes the poem provides a sudden and unexpected relief. The speaker reveals that there is a way to compensate for disappointment and sorrow. All the speaker has to do is think about thee, a dear friend, and all losses are restored and sorrows end. In other words, the speaker feels powerfully about the dear friend. So powerfully that simply thinking about this dear friend is enough to dispel the obsessive negative thoughts that pursue the speaker. Sonnet 30 on its own doesn't tell the reader who the dear friend is or what kind of relationship the dear friend has with the speaker. It could be read simply as a poem in praise of the transformative power of friendship, which alone it seems can heal the wounds that life inflicts. But in the broader context of Shakespeare's 154 sonnets, it's clear who this dear friend is. He is the beautiful young man whom Shakespeare's speaker obsessively quotes and praises in sonnets 1 to 126. In other words, the speaker of the poem, if the reader takes the poems in the broader context of the sequence, isn't just saying that friendship makes things better. Rather, the speaker is insisting that love, passionate, erotic love between two people, supplies all the pleasures, hope, and solace necessary to survive life's disappointments and sorrows. The poet has made use of financial terms from accounting in the poem. One of the most notable things about the sonnet is Shakespeare's use of financial terms from accounting, like dateless, cancelled, expense, tellover, account, pay, losses, and restore. All these are borrowed from the world of accounts, but to these we might add dear and precious, which under pressure from these other words come to take on a monetary flavor. It's as if Shakespeare were analyzing his list of woes in a methodical way, like a bookkeeper. This is not some disordered remembrance of past ills, but the action of an orderly and organized man who, for all his rational mindset, cannot get over the bad things that have happened to him in the past. Shakespeare has also made use of legal vocabulary in the poem. Shakespeare borrows from the legal profession too. Sessions and summon in the first two lines are both related to the courts. There's an official or by the book feel to this poem, which prevents it from being mere self indulgence. It has a strong central conceit, as with many other of the other sonnets. Shakespeare's self analysis and self scrutiny are checked in by the economic tinge to the words he uses to describe his dark memories. The poet has also made use of some symbols in the poem, and the first is night. Night is a symbol of the afterlife, the place where the dead go. For the speaker, death is dark, timeless space. It is dateless. There is no hope or light in it. Once someone sinks into death, they are lost forever. They cannot be restored to life. This symbol of the afterlife thus links to the overall sense of despair, of hopelessness the speaker feels in the first 12 lines of the poem. This treatment of the afterlife is remarkably aesthetic for a poem written in a culture where regular attendance at church was mandatory. The speaker emphatically does not imagine these precious friends in heaven enjoying eternal life. Indeed, the symbol may be said to exclude the Christian hope of resurrection from the poem. Only love itself, erotic love, can restore the loss the speaker feels so intense. Now, the poet has made use of poetic devices and figurative languages. First is and stop line. Most of the lines in Sonnet 30 are end stop. Indeed, the poem has only two enjambments in line 1 and 10. This gives the poem a slow pace and meditative feeling. Pausing at the end of most lines, the speaker feels exhausted, overwhelmed by despair and regret, unable to keep going. Here, the speaker describes a series of sorrows, the death of precious friends, lost loves, etc. Each line introduces a new grief or disappointment, and each line is end stop. The end stop slow these lines down. Each line is pensive and heavy. As a result, it almost feels like the speaker is hesitating at the end of each line, delaying the next line, avoiding discussing the next form of grief or sorrow. End stop generally works this way in the poem, slowing it down, emphasizing the speaker's sorrow and regret. In the final couplet of the poem, however, it plays a different function. Both of the final two lines are end stop. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end. Here, the end stops, particularly in the final line of the poem, communicates certainty, confidence, and finality. The speaker has no doubts about the power of love, its capacity to restore losses and end sorrows. Although these lines are end stop, the end stop functions differently than they do in the rest of the poem. No longer expressing sorrow and regret, they embody the speaker's confidence in the power of love. Line 13, however, could also be considered an instance of enjambment, since the meaning of the phrase, if the while I think on thee, isn't completed until the next line. However, the incompleteness doesn't convey uncertainty, rather, it suggests excitement. Again, this contributes to the overall confidence in love that the final couplet talks about. Form, meter, and rhyme scheme of the poem. Sonnet 30 is a Shakespearean sonnet. That means it follows a set form. The poem has 14 lines in a single stanza. It's written in iambic pentameter and it has a distinctive rhyme scheme. Although Shakespeare didn't invent the Shakespearean sonnet, he did popularize it, and he wrote more than 150 of them in his lifetime, making him the acknowledged master of the form. The Shakespearean sonnet is divided into two sections, the first 12 lines, which can be broken down further into quatrains, and the final two lines, which form a rhyming couplet. The shift between 12 and 13 is shift between lines 12 and 13 is called the volta. That's an Italian word, which means turn. It marks a point where things shift. The speaker pauses to reconsider the poem's argument to propose a new idea. The volta falls very late in a the volta falls very late in a Shakespearean sonnet. The speaker only has 2 lines to reconsider things, to propose new ideas, and so the voltas of Shakespearean sonnet often feel forced and unconvincing. On the other hand, sometimes this abrupt artificiality can contribute to the poem's overall effect. By contrast, in the Petrarchan sonnet, an older form, the volta falls between lines 8 and 9, giving the speaker much longer to develop a counter argument to change his or her mind. Sonnet 30 is a Shakespearean sonnet. All Shakespearean sonnets have the same rhyme scheme: A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. Speaker of the sonnet. The speaker of Sonnet 30 is full of regrets, disappointments, and sorrows. Over the course of the poem's first 12 lines, the speaker outlines those griefs in detail, moving from frustrated ambition to grief over the deaths of precious friends. The speaker seems obsessed with these setbacks and regrets. They don't get easier over time. Whenever the speaker remembers them, they are just as painful. Sonnet 30 is a tribute to the poet's friend and likely his lover, whom many believe to be the Earl of Southampton. Sonnet 29 proclaims that the young man is the poet's redeemer, and this theme continues in the above sonnet. The poet's sorrowful recollections of dead friends are sparked by the lover's absence and can be quelled only by the thoughts of his lover, illustrating the poet's dependence on his dear friend or for spiritual and emotional support. It is worth noting that many readers treat Shakespeare's sonnet as an autobiographical document. In other words, they assume that the speaker of the sonnets, including Sonnet 30, is Shakespeare himself. There are some hints in the historical record that line up with the arguments and characters that appear in the sonnets, but there is no evidence in the poems themselves that they are autobiographical or even written directly in Shakespeare's voice. Setting. In the opening lines of Sonnet 30, the speaker describes summoning up to the sessions of sweet silent thought, remembrance of things past. In other words, the speaker is remembering things, bringing memories forward as though they were on trial at a session, a court proceeding. Thus, the setting for the poem is the speaker's own mind and memories. The speaker spends most of the poem sifting through these memories, going over all of life's disappointments and griefs. Indeed, they are so powerful that the speaker can't let them go and can't look beyond them. The speaker feels trapped in memory, unable to see the world outside. The poem never situates the speaker in a place or a broader setting, even when the speaker remembers the dear friend, the love that restores all roses. The speaker still doesn't turn outward, doesn't rejoin the word through, for example, descriptive imagery. The poem's setting is thus the claustrophobic, circumscribed world of the speaker's mind. Notice Shakespeare's use of partial alliteration over several lines to enhance the texture and rhythm of the sonnet. Others could be cited, but here is one example. Went to the sessions of sweet silent thought, I summon up remembrance of things past. Allusions to say Sonnet 30 in other literature. The second line of Shakespeare's sonnet provided the source of C.K. Scott Monseriff's title, Remembrance of Things Past, for his English translation of French author Marcel Proust. It is now generally better known as In Search of Lost Time. Thank you.